On February 1st, 2026, the 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie suddenly vanished from her home in the Catalina foothills of Tucson, Arizona. In the middle of the night, someone bypassed the perimeter of an upscale, heavily monitored neighborhood and took her away. She was entirely incapable of mounting a physical defense. Nancy relied on a pacemaker and required daily heart medication just to survive. Whoever targeted her chose an individual who couldn't walk 50 yards on her own. The scene left behind offered immediate proof of a violent struggle. Investigators found droplets of Nancy's blood near the front entrance, and the home's security system had been visibly tampered with. Because of her severe heart condition, Nancy's pacemaker was synced via Bluetooth to her mobile phone for constant medical monitoring. Bluetooth has a physical range of about 30 feet. That connection dropped at exactly 2:28 a.m., giving investigators the precise minute she was forced past the threshold of her own home. The intruder was caught on the home's Ring doorbell camera. The footage shows a masked and gloved individual wearing a backpack, clumsily tapping at the camera lens with a potted plant to obscure the view. On their hip, a firearm sits improperly holstered right over their crotch. This extraction was timed to the exact second Nancy crossed her threshold, a high level of technical precision that requires planning. Yet, once on the porch, that composure vanished. This combination of foresight and physical panic suggests an offender with specialized training who simply could not handle the stress of the actual abduction. Despite heavy involvement from the FBI and a multi-agency task force led by Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, the investigation quickly stalled. The case generated intense national scrutiny because of the victim's high-profile family. Her daughter, NBC anchor Savannah Guthrie, stepped entirely away from her heavy duties covering the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy to manage the desperate search for her mother. Then, a shocking development emerged from inside the investigating agency itself. Pima County Deputy Travis Reynolds was arrested on a completely separate, severe kidnapping charge. According to court documents, Reynolds trapped a vulnerable woman inside his patrol car. He used the authority of his badge and uniform to keep her confined while demanding sexual favors and showing her explicit videos. A local deputy was caught using his uniform to hunt vulnerable targets, while a massive, desperate search was underway for an armed intruder who did the exact same thing in the dark. The department now faced the horrifying possibility that the masked figure on Nancy's porch was wearing a Pima County badge. To understand how this happened, we must look at the chronology leading up to the abduction. 4 days before she vanished, on January 27th, Nancy Guthrie celebrated her 84th birthday. A birthday for an elderly resident in a wealthy neighborhood means a steady stream of unfamiliar vehicles, florists, delivery drivers, and couriers dropping off gifts. It creates a temporary blind spot, providing cover for a predator to canvass the property and assess the security system without raising any suspicion. Now look at what was happening in Travis Reynolds' life during that exact same period. On January 3rd, Reynolds made a post on social media about people showing their true colors. In the replies, an acquaintance named Richard O. Gilman responds directly, asking if Reynolds is talking about him, because Gilman couldn't have you stay with me any longer. Reynolds was spiraling. He had lost his housing and was experiencing a personal crisis. This sudden instability coincided perfectly with the predictable window of vulnerability at a high-value target's home just a few miles away. The physical and behavioral profiles also overlap. The physical build and the visible eyes of the masked suspect caught on the doorbell camera bear a strong resemblance to Travis Reynolds. Psychologically, the overlap is even sharper. Both the Catalina foothills intruder and the disgraced deputy share the same specific predatory drive, using isolation to establish absolute physical control over defenseless women. You'd expect a trained police officer to be more composed than the suspect on that porch. A professional shouldn't fumble with a camera or let a weapon dangle from a cheap holster. But Reynolds' history contradicts the idea of a disciplined officer. A June 2019 social media post describes Reynolds walking into a courtroom and not being able to walk out and go home. The post praises him for manning up to the consequences of his choices. Whatever the 2019 case involved, Reynolds entered that courtroom knowing he was facing a jail sentence. His history with the law didn't start with a badge. It started as a defendant. Reynolds fits the profile of a rogue operator. He has the institutional knowledge required to bypass residential perimeters and exploit blind spots. but he lacks the composure to execute a clean getaway. As the days stretched on, the reality of Nancy's medical needs began to dictate the Guthrie family's public statements. Without her daily heart medication, her chances of survival dropped with every passing hour. Initially, the family took an aggressive stance. They offered a $1 million reward and sent a message to the kidnappers, stating, "We will pay." It was an active rescue strategy. But as time ran out, the messaging shifted. In a later, highly emotional update, Savannah Guthrie expressed a desire to simply be able to celebrate with her mother. Behavioral analysts note that this specific shift in phrasing is common in long-term cases. Asking to celebrate someone who requires life-saving medication is widely interpreted as a coded public plea directed at the captors. The language indicates the family has likely accepted that Nancy is gone. The objective has tragically transitioned from funding a rescue mission to negotiating the return of her remains for a memorial. The Pima County Sheriff's Department now faces a crisis of legitimacy that has shattered the community's basic expectations of safety. Whether Travis Reynolds' DNA matches the glove found near the Guthrie estate or not, a predator was hunting women while wearing a county uniform. Standard defensive measures, gated communities, and doorbell cameras are designed to keep criminals out. They are useless when the predator operates under the color of law, equipped with the authority to bypass those exact barriers. It's a chilling reminder that the system designed to protect citizens from monsters may have inadvertently provided one with a badge, a gun, and the perfect cover.